Good evening and welcome to this second video of the Wrestling Analyst. Now, this one is about Raw that was broadcasted last night, October 10th, 2022. Shout out to my brother, which was his birthday yesterday. So, first segment of the evening, since it was a season premiere. Now, we had the bloodline coming out to the ring, and now the bloodline storyline is so good right now. With Sami Zayn, a fellow Quebecer, in there in the bloodline as the honorary Uso, not getting along with Jey Uso, and that's that storyline right now is gold. I know where it's going. I think everybody knows that down the line, Sami Zayn is going to have a face turn, and it's going to be massive. It's going to be massive when he has his face turn, when all the bloodline jumps on him, beats him up, and everything. It's going to be massive. Now, when is it going to be? I don't know. But we all know it's coming at one point. We all know it. Now, Jey, when he's being talked down, he can't look at Roman in the eyes. Now, is that a sign that he's planning something? Maybe, but we'll see how it goes. But there's a couple of things like that, Sammy is getting along with Jimmy, bing, with the hand things. He's getting pretty along with Solo Sikoa. He's getting good with Roman sometimes. Maybe Heyman is still not sold on him, but Jey is definitely not. Definitely not. Doesn't like Sammy at all. He doesn't want him in the bloodline. He hates him and everything. But down the line, something's going to happen. That's for sure. It always does. So, anyway. Now, Jey being Sammy's problem, he has to do what Sammy says, or all those. It's like Roman said later on in the broadcast. No, Sammy stays here. He has a match, and you make sure he wins the match. Now that didn't happen. We knew that in the end. I'll come back to that. But it's like Sammy is going to take care of Jey, and you're not being oozy. That was Sammy is just golden right now. That's all I'm going to say for now. Now, Riddle interrupts the segment, challenges Roman in spite of having lost the last match against him, and the stipulation saying that he can't challenge Roman as long as he's champion. It's like, okay, so a deal's a deal and everything, so that's probably going to be what's coming in there, is that Riddle is going to push Roman so much to challenge him and challenge him and challenge him repeatedly. He's probably going to go through, well, you went through Sammy last night, but he's probably going to have to go through Jimmy, Jey, and Solo, and then probably Roman is going to accept his challenge or something. But like they said, a deal's a deal, but we'll see how it goes in there. But Riddle, with his win Saturday night, like I said on my other video, is now in the title picture. Match number 1. Austin Theory versus Johnny Gargano. Now, Theory, in the last few weeks, has been losing a lot of momentum. He's still Mr. Money in the Bank. He's still guaranteed championship, a world championship match whenever he sees fits, whenever he wants. But right now, he's not built like he's championship material. Not at all. So what's going to happen is probably that if he cashes in, probably he's going to fail on the cash-in if he doesn't lose the Money in the Bank briefcase altogether at one point in the storyline that with Johnny Gargano right now. Now Gargano on the other hand, he just came back, had a couple of matches, trying to establish himself in WWE, and not that he's not, because he had a hell of a run in NXT, but there's a lot of people watching Raw, SmackDown that are not watching NXT. I was one of them until the last few years, and even then I watched NXT sporadically. I'm now going to start watching it. I now started watching it every week. That's why I'm not doing any analysis on NXT right now, because I don't know the wrestlers enough. I know some of them, but I don't know them enough. I don't know the storylines enough, so I won't adventure myself there right now. Now, Gargano wins, continues his momentum, continues to establish himself as a legit wrestler in WWE, and Theory is losing momentum, like I said, all the time. He doesn't look good as a future champion right now. I'm not taking anything away from him. He is very good. He's got a hell of a future in front of him. But maybe Vince pushed him too early. A little bit like The Miz some 10, 11 years, 12 years ago. But anyway, The Miz never went back up the ladder until recently, and probably never will again. But I don't know. We'll see. But Theory, he's still Mr. Money in the Bank, so he's still guaranteed a match, a championship match. But he is not looking too good right now as a potential champion. If he does cash in and wins the championship, he's going to be a transitional champion. That's going to be it. Maybe it's the way they make Roman lose the title at one point, a little bit like WrestleMania between Lesnar and Reigns when Rollins cashed in. Maybe Theory is going to cash in during the match and pin not Roman but the other wrestler. But my question now is, are we going to see a match where the Money in the Bank briefcase is on the line between Gargano and Theory? That's my question right now. If we are, I think it's going to be at the Royal Rumble. We shall see. Match number 2. Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable. Now, storyline-wise, there's not really any significance for those two to face each other. But you had to know that at some point, Judgment Day, Dominic would come in, interfere, or whatever was going to happen there. You had to expect that Judgment Day would come. And they did. Now, before the match, Mysterio, because of all the events of the weekend, and all the events surrounding Dominic is not on top of his game. Well, storyline-wise. And Gable would like to take advantage of that to grab a win, and a big win against a legend. Now, during the match, of course, Rhea and Dominic come out, and they try to distract Ray, but Ray wins anyway. Now, Dominic, after the match, Dominic enters the ring, faces Dad, dares his dad to hit him, hit me, Ray never does. And then when Ray turns around to leave the ring, Dominic attacks him, gives him the 619, and it went on a little bit. And when they came from the break, after the match and after the attack, you saw Ray like crying because of the situation. Now, of course, they're going to drag on this. Like I said, they're going to drag that storyline. Are we going to see Dominic versus Ray at the Royal Rumble? I don't expect that. I think they're going to keep that going until WrestleMania. And that's where we're going to see Dominic versus Rey Mysterio. Right after that, we had a segment with the Judgment Day. Finn says he's out of mercy and gives AJ an ultimatum to join the Judgment Day. Now AJ says that Finn was right all along, needed friends, The two embrace. And then AJ says, I wasn't talking about you. Now, there were rumors about Gallows and Anderson coming back. But as soon as AJ started talking about friends and everything, I knew that the OC, Gallows and Anderson, were coming back. And it was like written in the sky. But the face that Finn does, like when AJ says, I wasn't talking about you, now that was priceless. That was very well played by Finn. So, and then the two factions brawled. It was a perfect angle. So I see now not only Judgment Day against the OC, but we're going to have a Judgment Day against Edge and Beth and Ray. So they have a lot on their plate right now. But it should be good. And that should, again, probably cement Judgment Day as one of the top factions in WWE. Now, another match that had no real impact on storylines was Candice LeRae and Bayley. Now, as Gargano, LeRae just came back to WWE. She wants to establish herself. And Bayley needs a comeback victory to get back up in title contention. Now, nice match. Expected Bayley maybe to win. Was a nice surprise to see Candice LeRae win. And with a reversal on the Rose Plant. So that was like the first time that the Rose Plant was reversed. So it was a nice twist there. Damage Control attack LeRae. Belair comes out. Boom, boom, boom. And gets laid out. And now, that was the perfect way to bring back Bayley in the title picture. Because with the loss on Saturday against Bianca and losing to Candice LeRae, it was like, why would she be in the title picture? Well, now with the attack on LeRae and Belair, leave him flat on her stomach, that does mean that Belair will want revenge on Bayley. And that's going to lead to a match between the two. Maybe at Crown Jewel or at Survivor Series. But Survivor Series usually is brand champion versus brand champion. So at Survivor Series, unless it's not the same thing as the other years, we would have Ronda Rousey against Bianca Belair. So maybe the pay-per-view after that, the special event after Survivor Series, I think it's Tables, Ladders, and Chairs TLC. So maybe there we will have a match, Bayley versus Bianca. We'll see. Now, third segment, little comedy, little Miz and Maryse. Does Maryse look good? Wow. Anyway. And Dexter Lumis crashing the party. That was just keep on going with the storyline. Whatever reason Dexter Lumis is after Miz, we still don't know. And seeing Shawn Michaels at one point talking about Dexter Lumis to Miz, saying, "Oh, he's a quiet guy." Well, you don't have any quieter than that, in my opinion. So anyway, so that was a nice little segment, a little comedy, and that kept that storyline advancing. So it was nice. Now, match number 4 was Omos versus I don't have the names of the guy. Not really important, but shout out to independent guys. I wrestled in the independents in Quebec, and we bust our asses off for maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people in the seats. We bust those wrestlers in the independents. Almost all have the dream to make it to WWE. Almost all of them. So shout out to those two guys. I don't know your names. I'm sorry, guys, but shout out to you two guys. Now, Omos nominates and wins. That's probably what they're gonna do with him, having him beat up 2 or 3 guys every other week, just to keep him strong and everything. But I don't see anything going or coming big for Omos except being a giant and beat up some jobbers. For now, I don't see anything. So now after that, there was a little recap on Bray Wyatt's return. That was awesome. The way they did it, that was awesome. Now, there was Lashley's ring entrance in preparation for his match against Seth Rollins. But surprise, surprise, Brock Lesnar came out of the backstage. Now, what was he doing there? It was the Raw's season premiere, so they brought up the big guns. Now, Lashley wants to keep the title and stay on top of Raw since there's no world champion. And Rollins needs a win and the title to stay on top of the contenders list. Right, maybe not 1, 2, or 3, but he had to win to stay at the very top of the list of contenders. Top 5, let's say. Now, Brock is coming out, like I said. He F5's Lashley, German suplex, another F5, then he goes with a Kimura lock, injuring Lashley in the process. Well, like I said, injuring Lashley. Now Seth, after the break, Seth comes out, starts to insult Lashley, tells him, "Hey, you're supposed to be a soldier. You're a disgrace to the country." And so that ticked off Lashley, got the match going, and that was a mistake. He let his pride talk instead of common sense, and Rollins took advantage and won the title. Now, that match was not a classic. It didn't last very long because of Lashley's injury. But even then, Lashley did fight to keep the title and everything. But with all the segment with Lesnar, I was gonna say Lechner. all the segment with Brock was leading to Lashley losing the title. Now, what's going to happen with Lashley? He called out Brock Lesnar after, and now, for once, we're going to see Brock not being in the title picture and wrestling. And we're going to have another match with Lashley and Brock, probably. And that should be, I think that's going to be a good one. And the main event of the evening. Matt Riddle versus Sami Zayn. Now, Riddle wants to have another title match, even though, like I said earlier, he lost his last match against Roman with the stipulation that if you lose, you can't challenge Roman as long as he's champion. Now, a little bit early on during the show, Roman left the arena and he told Jay, "You have to make sure that Sami wins. Make the honorary Uce win his match against Riddle." Probably to push down Riddle in the ranks of contenders. And that's it. The match was good. The storyline in there that Jimmy was doing everything he could. He was hitting Riddle to try to help Sami win. And then Sami says, "Hey, you told me to take care of this. I'm taking care of this. I don't need your help." Blah, blah, blah. So it was like Sami and Jay butting heads again. So that keeps the storyline going. And then at one point, Jay said, "Okay, you want to take care of it yourself? Okay, I'm not going to do anything anymore." And when Jimmy wanted to interfere, Jay prevents him from doing it. And Riddle gives an RKO to Zayn and pins him, wins the match. Now, like I said earlier, Riddle to have a match with Roman, a championship match with Roman, is probably going to have to go through all the bloodline. So first step is done. Sami is done. Now, what's going to happen next? Maybe it's going to be Jimmy. The next part is going to be Jimmy. Now, how is Sami is going to do? Probably he's going to try to help Jimmy win. But maybe that's going to happen next week. Well, we never know. Maybe Matt Riddle is going to be there Friday. We don't know. But anyway, Raw was a nice show. Storylines advanced. First show after Extreme Rules, so there was a lot of recap from Extreme Rules, and but some of the storylines, like I said, especially the one with the bloodline, have advanced. Judgment Day now having the OC or whatever they're going to call themselves, but probably it's going to be the original club again with the Good Brothers and AJ. They're going to have a nice war there. Theory and Gargano keep their feud going, and like I said, probably it's going to end up being probably for the briefcase. We'll see, but anyway. So, if you like this video, give me a like, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button. I know it's a channel that's starting. I'm doing baby steps here, and hope you liked it. Hope that you will follow me in the future, and hope that my content is interesting to you. So have a nice evening, and right now I'm gonna go watch NXT in half an hour, and to start maybe getting to know a little bit more of the wrestlers. Now, I know Braun Breaker, I know Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction, Ilya Dragunov that just came back. There's a lot of talent down there, and Carmelo Hayes is a hell of a performer. So, but I miss the black and gold days, the NXT takeovers. I hope that Triple H brings that back. Like before Survivor Series on Saturday, they have an NXT takeover on Friday or something. Like I don't know why, but those special events they're doing on Tuesdays on their regular schedule, they don't have the same appeal, in my opinion. No. Anyway, so have a nice evening. Probably next video I'm gonna make it Saturday or Sunday for SmackDown. So until then, take care. Have a nice evening and enjoy the wrestling.